I can't prime the carb. When I push the primer bulb, no gas come up the tube.
Hi, fortunately there is a quick fix for your problem that you can try before doing something a little more involved like a full-blown carburetor job. The air cleaner base that mounts to the face of your carburetor has a gasket that goes between the carburetor and the air cleaner base. You'll want to double up on this gasket. Use 2 new gaskets on that gasket surface where only one ought to be. Soak both of these gaskets with new motor oil before you put it back together. The reason you're not getting that squirt of fuel in the throat of your carburetor is the air cleaner base has warped as heat from the engine is transferred to it. Doubling up the oil-soaked gasket ensures a snug fit and a proper seal on that surface to ensure you get your fuel primed to the throat. The part number for that gasket is 272653S, or the new superseded number is XXXXX. Either part number will get you the proper gasket, but keep in mind you'll need 2 of them to account for the warpage on your air cleaner base. Try this first as it's easier and cheaper than removing and cleaning the carburetor in a full-blown carburetor job, and is in fact likely the problem anyhow. It's so prevalent and well known that I never ever go back together with one without doubling up. If that doesn't work out for you, I'll happily walk you through the carburetor job. Let me know how it works for you. Thanks, Kyle.
Hi Kyle, installed double gasket, still can't prime the carb.
Were both gaskets new ones? Not one old and one new? Both wet with 30-weight motor oil and the 2 screws good and snug. The 2 screws that mount the base to the carburetor have to be good and tight, but not so tight that you strip out the carburetor's threads. Check the 2 screws, and if they're good and tight, then we'll look at a full carburetor cleaning.
Yes, I have installed 2 new gaskets. And snug them up tight.
Okay, let's look at a full cleaning then. Remove the carburetor, then remove the bowl, the float, the needle and the rubber seat down in the hole that the needle slides in. If your carburetor has an adjustable needle with a spring mounted in the side of the carburetor, most of the newer ones don't, remove it as well. Your choke, if equipped, and throttle shafts won't need to be removed, they can stay. Soak the carburetor body, bowl, and bowl nut in a can of good carburetor cleaner such as Berryman Chem Dip for 1 hour. It comes in a 1-gallon pail, looks like a paint can, and can be purchased at any auto parts store. Remove from the carburetor cleaner and spray clean with spray carburetor cleaner. Blow dry with compressed air. The carburetor kit part number is XXXXX. Your carburetor kit will have a new needle and seat, a bowl gasket, bowl nut gasket, and an air cleaner to carburetor gasket. It has more stuff in it, but I find that these items are all I ever use. Important note: your new seat has a smooth side and a ridged or ribbed side. When installing your new seat, the ribbed or ridged side will need to go downward to seal with the bottom of the carburetor body. The smooth side should be facing you, and is there to seal with the needle's tip. If you don't install the seat in this orientation, you are guaranteed a fuel leak. Seat in, slide the needle into the float and drop it in the hole. Slide your float pin in and then mount the bowl gasket onto the carburetor body. Lay the bowl on the gasket and apply your bowl nut with new gasket and thread in. Reinstall your carburetor. Before refueling, empty your fuel tank and clean it out. You'll be doing this to make sure there is no debris in the fuel tank and therefore in your newly cleaned carburetor. Get as much fuel out of the tank as you can, then take a shop towel and stuff it in the fuel tank and blow it around inside the fuel tank with compressed air. This will get any remaining fuel out. Remove the shop towel and repeat until you can see no more gas in the fuel tank. Pull your shop towel out, and once the fuel tank is dry on the inside, take your compressed air and blow out the inside of the tank. Being dry, any debris in the tank will blow out the open hole where you are blowing compressed air in. With the fuel tank wet, any debris would be inclined to stay inside instead of blow out with the rushing of the compressed air. Fresh fuel is 90% of the battle in small engine, so you're in good shape if you've got a freshly pumped can no older than 30 days. Give the cleaning a shot and let me know if your priming returns.
I disassembled the carb and cleaned as instructed. Still have the same problem carb won't prime.
If your gasket seal on the face of the carburetor between the air cleaner base and the carburetor is solid, and your carburetor has been thoroughly cleaned, then there are only two things left that you can do to restore your prime. The first is re-clean it. The soaking of this carburetor in the Berryman Chem dip or something equivalent is crucial in getting the carburetor clean enough to behave as it is intended. Spraying the carburetor out with the spray carburetor cleaner in the bottle only just is not stout or strong enough to cut the crud in your carburetor. The only purpose for the spray carburetor cleaner in this instance is to remove the good stuff Berryman Chem dip left on the carburetor after pulling it out of there, because it is very aggressive first of all, but second, when it is left to dry on things, it itself can become gummy and sticky, which is definitely not ideal for your carburetor. Gummy and sticky crud was the whole reason for cleaning in the first place, as it won't allow fuel/air flow as required by the engine. The second is to replace the carburetor. This is not the ideal solution, but if your carburetor won't behave as it is intended even though it is whistle clean, that's your only remaining option. Sorry, this last one is not better news, but it's a reality that even seasoned mechanics deal with. Again, if you do end up getting a new carburetor for it, you'll even still want to double up on the carburetor face gasket. Please relay and more questions or concerns about this you have here, and I'll be glad to help you. I did think of one other thing you can try if you still have no prime after cleaning the carburetor. We have replaced the air cleaner base that seals against the doubled up gaskets between your carb and air filter. You might replace the air cleaner base even with a used one if you can get your hands on one before you look into replacing the carburetor. Just had this as an afterthought, but it's something to try as it's definitely cheaper, especially if you can get a used base locally.
I took carb apart and there was no fuel in the bowl. Needle stuck. Cleaned carb again. I to a paper clip and straightened it, ran it up and down the tube. Mower works like brand new. Thanks.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.